like I was in stepping into some pretty big shoes. You know, and I would say only very recently, the past 2-3 years, have I actually become the one like with the bigger shoes, you know.
Hello and welcome to the 9th episode of Vibes Podcast with your hosts Ted and Med.
I'm Med.
And I'm Ted. And today we brought on a very special guest who's a DJ. He's in the entertainment industry. DJ Jilbér? Jilbér. I know there's an accent on the E. I just don't know how to...
What's your last name?
Galajan.
Do you go by it or just DJ Jilbér?
No, most people know me as Jilbér.
Yeah.
Much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you guys know he's a DJ. We have a friend named Albert who was trying to be a DJ. Not trying to be, he was trying to do it on the side thing. Same like you were talking about earlier. You did it as a side thing before.
Well, not the DJ, the DJ thing. That was like from a very young age. But music, like as an artist, that's what I started.
How old would you say you were when you like got into it?
So I was like 12 when I started going with my dad, who he was one of just the top DJs at the time. Like in the Armenian market, he was one of the first, and he stuck with it for 30 years.
Wow.
Started going with him when I was 12, and by 15 I did my first solo event.
Wow, that's amazing.
Jeez. It's insane how much parents and like just influence comes from them, and we were talking about this earlier, how for 25 years my dad's been a real estate broker, and that led me to get my license. And you know, it's weird how we look up to the people that raise.
I love it. Why not? You know, if your parents are good at something and you pick that up.
Yeah.
Does your dad still do anything, or he's...
My dad, he does it like out of passion, just once in a while. But because he bought a few halls, banquet halls,
okay,
so event venues, and he focused on that, and he made them. I mean, they're really successful. So he's more focused on the halls, just making sure they run well.
Do you mind speaking a little closer to the mic?
Yeah,
Sorry
no
about
problem.
that.
No problem.
Would anyone know your dad? Like, if you were to mention it, our age group.
Our age group, you know, I've found that a lot of people know him as my dad.
But I mean, would you say he's helped you through a lot of stuff, like networking and stuff like that?
Well, I can't begin to say how many people come up to me like, oh, we know your dad. Oh your dad's amazing. Like, they know my dad. The one generation above, so many people know him. It's like ridiculous for me. Like I was in stepping into some pretty big shoes. You know, and I would say only very recently, the past 2-3 years, have I actually become the one like with the bigger shoes. You know,
it's your own a path. Like, I feel like a lot of people that take their dad's steps maybe are like in the shadow sometimes, but you gotta like
pave your own path
and go your own path, which
where
like
you stand out.
Have done, right?
Yeah, bro, absolutely. I mean, I'm totally different from my dad in quite a few aspects. You know, on and off. Like, there's a reason that people actually know me and not my dad now.
Right.
But it all came from I can't like I would never be here, you know, if it wasn't for him, of course.
That's perfect.
Better question I have actually is, any of the banquet halls that we might been at or know of that your dad owns, or
you might have been to Mirage or Pure.
Yeah, Mirage, yeah,
definitely.
Mirage in NoHo in North Hollywood.
Wow.
Pure, and then I mean, yeah, we have those two. There's four venues across them.
Wow, that's awesome. So you started at 12, and by 15 you had your first. Like, what would happen at 15?
At 15, I did a Sweet 16 for one of the girls in my class. It was like, I was so nervous. I literally spent a month preparing my sets, and even then it was like just me now compared to then. It was like just night and day. Like, I could just show up to to a 500-person event and just boom, just knock that out. Yeah. And back then I prepared a month for my first, for like to play for like 3 hours or something.
Isn't it crazy how like things change? Like you like, bro, I just compare this to my own life when, like, for example, I'm in e-commerce. When I had my first sale, man, like let's say $15, bro, I was just so excited. I'm like, dude, now it's like I look at that, I'm like how far we've come. I think it's just crazy how if you put in work every day, little by little, a year passes by and you're like, dude, where the fuck am I now?
Absolutely,
it's crazy,
man.
I think I want to circle back actually and talk about more the type of genre that you're in. And the question I had for you was, the Sweet 16, what kind of music were you playing? Is it the type of music that you're playing now, or has it evolved? Or, I mean, how is that?
I would definitely say almost every single song is different. Like if you take a set from today and back then, it's different. But I still do use some of those songs. On occasion, because they're the popular. Like my set was basically, like Tata's popular songs. Like the Autumn Masaltrian, the Tata, the Ottoman Cheek. And then some English. And the English gets old really quick with Armenians.
Yeah.
Armenians, you can play something from like 20, 30 years ago and they'll be like, that's the right there, I'm sorry, am I not allowed to say stuff like that?
No, like cussing?
Yeah.
No, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. We cuss too. Yeah. But so I know Gilbert from UCLA. That's where we connected. And we like messaged on Instagram. We got you on. But what did you study at UCLA?
I studied business econ. I think we were in the same program.
Yeah. So, were you? I mean, at that time, you said you started at 15 with your music career. So, when you went that path of college, what was going on in your head? Were you saying this is like the business thing is like just like a backup plan?
It was. I mean,
or are you actually like into like econ? Because I was in it and I hated it, to be honest. Like I hated every single part of it, and I just did it because, bro, like I was lost. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I recently just not dropped out. I'm like, I'm not gonna do the bio thing because I was supposed to be a doctor. So my second option was like econ. So I just did that, and then I don't know, man, it worked out. But what was your initial thing going into it?
So I loved econ. I took an econ class in high school. Like I took it at Valley College, and I really loved it. I loved econ, but I found out obviously now looking back that I love econ, but I can't really apply it very well. I mean, trust me, I use a lot of stuff I learned in college. But the music stuff was just doing so good. Like I paid my college off. Like I was working all through college. I paid it off as I went. So that really helped me. And by the time I was done, actually I was just doing so well. I was so successful that it just made sense for me to continue. Besides the fact that I love it.
Right. Which is like ultimate goal. You love it and you get paid for what you do. But so music is your main thing right now. You're focusing like 100% of your time on that.
Now, absolutely, because now I'm also making music. I'm releasing music. So, and thank God, like it's doing well. So
how does that work though? I don't understand. So do you make the beats first and then you go to the artist and say, yo, sing on this, or how does it work?
So I have an idea usually in my head.
Okay.
Like I have an idea for a song. First thing we do is the make the beats. It's called an arrangement. So we make the beat, the instrumental. We demo it out. Usually, sometimes even we'll have someone just sing like the melody along, so that the artist has an idea. And funny story. My probably my biggest track to date came out with I had someone sing it first. So nobody knows this, but my last track that's doing really well, Siro Namak, I had someone else sing it.
It's about like 800,000 views on YouTube now, right?
That's
very nice, man. Congratulations.
And
Thank
you released
brother.
that this year. How long?
It's like a month ago, right?
Yeah, it was a month and a half for a new artist. Like I'm very humbled. I'm so glad that people are listening to my music.
I know like the Armenian population is like, but I just like, we're big, but like I feel like in like a couple months or a month getting 800,000 views, and I'm assuming they're mostly Armenian.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
That's huge.
I can't think about 800,000 Armenians.
Armenians on the web on YouTube.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
crazy,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine my dad searching for like a song on YouTube. Like, I don't know, it's weird.
But they do. I mean, I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if my mom has even like came across that on YouTube, because she's literally on her phone. She has like the stereos hooked up to her phone. She always blasts Armenian music.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's kind of like when an Armenian music plays on YouTube, the next song is something very similar. So it just keeps going, and they're usually so lazy that they just keep it on, and it just plays as a playlist. It keeps coming. So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, the 800,000, that's nothing. I mean, we should be, this is worldwide.
And what has it been, like a month, 2 months?
About a month and a half.
Oh, it's still going, huh?
Yeah. It's gonna hit big.
It'll hit 1 million this year. You know.
Definitely.
Do you know?
I just throw Armenian in.
No, we do too. Sometimes we throw it Armenian out. We're like, oh shit, nah, everyone's Armenian.
Do you know where that demographic is coming from? Like, do you know if it's from Armenia or if it's from the US? Like, does YouTube have those analytics?
Obviously, a magician never reveals his secrets.
Yeah, that's
But
respectful.
You'd expect a lot of people from Armenia and Russia actually listen to this music, especially the stuff that comes out of LA. It's characteristic to here because we have the dance music the type of stuff that comes out of LA. Like, you guys, they know, like, oh, it's an Armenian track made in LA, you know, just because the bass lines, the kicks, all that, just
it's different than okay, that makes sense. It's like kind of that Hollywood effect that that we do.
For someone that's not in, like, doesn't know anything about music besides listening to it, why are you better than other people?
Me, I have no answer. I'm just.
But like I'm saying, what are the characteristics
of my music? Well, you know, I just, every song I do it just because I love it. It's like it's a work of love, and I don't care how many views it gets. I don't care, you know, like if it flops, if it does well. I just do it because I love it, and you know, and I hope that it touches people. That's all I can really hope for. You know?
I mean, I kind of have a follow up to that. Is I have like a lot of friends or people that I've just met that always had this huge passion for music, and obviously there's you still have to be making a living. I mean, you're gonna have to make a family at some point. I mean, you have a house, a mortgage, you have bills to pay, you know? And there's always that fine line. It's like, do I spend more time focusing on my music, or do I get a job and work on my music part-time? But then you end up like not doing it 110%. And how did you know when it was time to let go of everything else and full force just focus on music? And did having your dad be in the business help in any way, and as kind of a back support? And any advice that you would give for people who don't have,
that's a lot of questions,
who don't have that support like you did? So I mean, go ahead.
I'll answer that as
throw a paragraph at you
as concisely as I can. I'm definitely very privileged and blessed to have been basically born into the industry, because I have all these connections, you know, like I hate to backtrack, but I was saying, you know, I was saying about the track, the Siro Namak. I had someone else sing it. I didn't like, I wasn't happy with it. I'm like, I can't release this. And I actually had Aloyan, so Armen Aloyan, who sang the track. He didn't want to do it originally. He said, "Oh, that's dangerous," you know.
Why is it dangerous?
Because it's like, it's a sad, like the lyrics are sad, but it's an upbeat track.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said it was dangerous. But I actually reworked the melody and myself, and I had someone sing it, and then I had him listen to that, and he's like, "Well, the melody you told me earlier was actually a lot better." But you know, now listening to the track come together, it's like I'll think about it. I'm like, Aloyan, I want you to do this. Like, this is what I want, you know. And I eventually convinced him, and like for him, this has been great because it's his biggest track out for like years, I think.
Yeah.
So the first person you did it with, isn't that kind of weird once like they record and then you're like, or is that industry standard where you're like, okay, we're not going to use this?
Yeah, I hate to like make the guy feel bad, but I'm a very honest person. You know, it's actually a lot of times that happens is like stuff gets done and then it's like it doesn't get released. But for me, I'll be straightforward with someone. I'll be like, look, this isn't what I envisioned. This isn't what I wanted. You know, I'm sorry, but like I have to, you know, do. My vision is number one. You know.
Yeah. I mean, there's no hard feelings at that point. I feel. I'm
It
sure
depends on the person, because I'm thinking that the singer is probably emotional. They're putting their emotion into it, and then you shut me down. Like, let's say I was very passionate about singing, and then I sing on your track, and you're like, "Listen, man, it's not gonna work out, man." And then I'm like, "Oh."
I mean, you're not essentially saying that you're a bad singer. You're just saying that it doesn't fit into the track that I'm releasing. I mean, it's different.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's still you're getting rejected. But
I mean, I'm not like choru copy. I'm not like super like straightforward with. I mean, I'm as straightforward as I can be with a gentle touch. So I obviously offered him, you know, I said you can use the instrumental and release your own cover if you want. Like I'll give you the rights.
Oh, okay.
You know, and that's all like inside artist stuff that normally I wouldn't talk about. That I would only talk about, you know, like here. But like, you know, me, I'm not afraid of failure or rejection or I guess just like somebody telling me, you know, I prefer people to be straightforward with me. So if I'm straightforward with someone about the truth, I expect that they would understand just how I do, you know.
Now, I'm thinking like, when you're growing up, who would you look up to as your favorite like DJs, or who were the guys that like would inspire you like, damn, I want to make songs? Like, was it Armenians or was it Tiesto?
Calvin Harris.
Hilarious enough, man. Good question, man. In college I loved Tiesto, Armin van Buuren, just trance EDM, like Avicii. As cheesy as that is, like I love that EDM movement.
High school.
That was college.
Oh,
that was one where that was you know back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day. But you know, I would say my biggest influence now is Sammy Flash.
I want to say I know him, but I don't.
He's
huge.
He's really big. He's
I'm
a
sure
good
we've
mentor
heard
of
some
mine.
of his songs, but
If you've been to an Armenian event, you've heard some of his songs.
yeah, definitely. Oh, isn't Sammy Flash?
You're probably gonna say something wrong.
Probably. But did he do something with Armin Cheek or?
Pretty much everybody except Armin Cheek.
Oh wow!
So you got
Completely wrong.
Wow. Okay.
You called it, bro. You called it.
But so, how old is this guy?
Sammy he's in his late 30s, I think.
And he's a DJ.
Yeah, he's a DJ producer.
Okay, wow. Okay. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
23, right? You're
like 25?
I just turned 24.
24.
Oh, okay.
Wow, jeez.
Yeah.
What the are we doing? We're doing something wrong.
How old are you guys?
I'm 23.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just bald. Don't look at I know I look 30, but I'm 23. But
I just turned 24 2 weeks ago. Don't take it so bad.
No, I'm just saying, like, we're almost the same age, and we have 300 views. You have 800,000.
Oh, dude, don't even.
Yeah, of course, bro. You've been doing this for a long time. I know.
No. My like, I don't want to linger too long on it, but this was literally my third track that I released. You know, the first one has like 50, second 80, and this is 800. So like, you know, you can like just boom. You know, if you find the right formula, you can just boom. Would you say you had that one big like break where like at some point in your career there was just one song or something you did where it put you on the map? Besides this 800,000 views one. Well, I'm honestly, bro, I'm very new as an artist. I'm gonna like be straightforward. I didn't even know how to play the piano in January, February.
Wow, of this year.
Yeah, but I loved it. I put so many hours in. I learned sound engineering. I learned production, music theory, and my first track was in May. So May to October, it's 5 months. So I'm a very new artist. So that's why I'm like, I'm just so humbled that it just
you don't trip out at the fact that in January you didn't really know much about it, but here you are now, like Bro, for me, the human mind is so interesting because I'm just like, how does this happen? Like, a year is not a long time. I can spend a year just watching movies at home, doing nothing, and a year passes by, I'm like, nothing's really changed. Versus, look at you, like, in a year, like, the difference. Like, you're saying you're a new artist, and in a year, how much has changed? That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, less than a year, dude. Less like 6 months almost. Why am I here, man? Because I like I see what you guys are doing, you know, and like it starts off as something you guys really like doing, and that's my advice for anybody. You just have to just find what you really love doing, because you know I hit a lot of road bumps, and my passion got me through it. And once you have that, then you just gotta tweak your formula until it works. You know.
Did you ever have like a backup plan? Was it like going into some finance from business econ? Because I did that for like a year and I hated it. So I'm asking you if.
Yeah, I did actually go into finance and I hated it too.
You worked.
I hated it, bro. I did a year. I mean, it's funny. I'm a DJ with a degree from UCLA and business econ, but. It's hilarious because, you know, I could just DJ for the rest of my life and I'll be fine. Like, I'll live a good life. I'll have, you know, disposable income to spend and like, but I'm not satisfied with that. You know, I could DJ for 5,000 people a week, and once my sets are done, boom, it's over. But I could have a song out that someone really loves, and 30 years later, you know, something happens, they pull that song out for memories.
So I mean that's where I wanted to get at. What your next steps are and what your like goals are, where you see yourself in, I don't know, 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, next year, you know? So I just want to kind of get an idea of where you're heading.
Where's my passion taking me? Short term, like I'm trying to continue with doing, you know, providing people this, what they like, you know, what they like from me. You know, I have a track with Suro coming out actually literally this week, in a few days.
What's it called, or is it unrevealed?
It's You wanna
save it?
I think it'll be up on my Instagram.
Okay. Your Instagram is DJ Jilbér?
Yeah, at DJ Jilbér.
And your YouTube is as well. We'll put those links.
Yeah, we'll have those links down in the description.
Okay, nice. Continue. I'm sorry about that.
No. So it'll be out Thursday night ish. It's just some final kinks to work out.
Nice.
And it's called Adi Adi. It's actually a cover of a Paul song. So, you know, Paul Baghdadian, I'm sure you guys know.
Rest in peace. Yeah.
Love the guy's music.
Yeah,
absolutely. We actually performed this song at his brother's daughter's wedding like a couple weeks ago. We debuted it. Yeah.
Did you like it?
It got a good reception.
It was a good response to. I mean, since it was for Paul. I mean, well, not for Paul, but it was more of like a take of his kind of music, or.
Yeah, it's obviously in my style more, but you guys will hear it. I feel very good about it. I love the track so much. Like,
I'm excited now.
Yeah, I can't. I've listened to it like 1,000 times, you know, and I'm just like, damn, it just keeps getting better for me.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a hard question?
I feel like every single question.
It was what
I've that asked has been completely like sidetracked and like past like
yours.
Yeah,
I'm just here to hang out with you guys.
Yeah,
that's what it is. We're just vibing out. But my question to you is, don't take this the wrong way. I'm just thinking because I always think of everything huge. Okay. Who would you say is like number one famous Armenian in the music industry, singer, DJ, whatever? Who would you say it is, in your opinion?
So numbers wise, so just talking straight numbers. Heiko and Super Sako and Spitaxi Heiko, they have Migana. It blew up. It hit number one in 30 countries. In that Armenia area of the world, so like Eastern Europe and the Middle East. And it has like 120 million views on YouTube, which hasn't been reached for an Armenian track.
They have so many remakes of it too. It's insane. Like in different languages, like and they just took the melody and they did their own touch, which is crazy. So I'm curious to know, like, if it was the melody that got it, or if it was the singers. I mean,
I've analyzed. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go
I've
for it.
analyzed. I've looked at this a lot of ways, and at the end of the day, it all comes together. You know, every single thing. Because it's like you say, oh, if I take this part away, would it be the same? Of course not. It might not have blown up. It could have stayed at, less than 1 million. So my answer is don't think about it. It just,
But so my hard question here is, so looking at someone like that, okay, the 120 million has not been reached before, but let's just say besides that huge number, right? Your crowd is Armenians. So there is a certain cap of how big you can be, right? Like you can't be Sting. You can't be. I don't know why I just thought about Sting, but you can't reach. Do you think? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, since your audience is Armenians, and people that like Armenian music, like, you think, like, do you care about your cap of how big you can get? Because I just feel like if I want 7 billion people to know my name, right? Not gonna happen, but it's just a goal.
yeah.
Right. So I'm just thinking, like, if your crowd is Armenians, how do you feel about that? You feel like you're okay, you're content with that?
Well, because I do it out of love.
You don't care about
I don't really spend too much time thinking about it. Obviously, I'm at the end of the day, it is a business. I do think about that stuff, and my direction for the future is to get into that, Middle Eastern, I guess, that Eastern European market, because we have like Russia, we have Armenia, we have a lot of those countries that the music is very similar,
Yeah.
There's a lot of countries in that area, like, political tensions aside, the cultures kind of grew up together, and the music sounds all the same. Migana hit #1 in Turkey. That's where it blew up.
yeah.
And Sako raps English, so that makes it marketable to it's universal. But Heiko's an amazing vocalist, and his vocals made it relatable to that area, that general area.
I think the beauty with music is that it, at the end of the day, it's an art form, and art it's something that is it's not just kind of excluded to a specific audience. I mean, there's Bocelli, for example. Everybody is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying.
I don't think that you have a cap necessarily. So I disagree with.
I guess my question is: would you do songs with non-Armenians? Not even like Russian Armenian, not like straight up like an Hispanic.
Yeah, absolutely. See, so Hispanic is a good example because so many countries are Spanish speaking. Like reggaeton is like blown up. Despacito, was #1 for how many weeks, and it's a Spanish. Like Justin Bieber singing in Spanish. So obviously I am like very open to that stuff, but I need to focus on making my fans happy, my fan base,
your core fans.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I mean, as a wedding DJ, people do call me because they love my music. They're like, look, we like your songs, your vibe. Like, we've heard about you. We've seen you we've heard about you at events. But on top of that, like, I can't stop listening to your song, and ultimately, like, I am catering more to LA Armenians, just because that's my direct fan base.
Yeah, that's where you are right now. I mean,
that's who I perform for.
Yeah.
But in the future, it's like, who knows?
Yeah, I think it's good to have like a core and ground yourself first, and then once you master that, then just expand into like whether it's Spanish, whether it's English, whatever it may be.
Absolutely, I do have like one track in the works that I expect it's gonna be more universal than just Armenians, but that like. I'm not going to give like an expected view count, but it's definitely going to be my biggest so far.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
When did you start your YouTube channel, or like your first video on it?
Hilariously. So my first track that I released, Armenian, like, it's the third video I released. That was in May. I don't remember my YouTube channel. It's so old, but like
But you haven't been active, maybe.
Yeah, I think the first video I released actually has like 250,000 views.
Yeah.
It was an Armenian dance mix, and I was just, as a DJ, not a producer, I put a mix together of, basically what I do, so people could see, this is how I mix and stuff. And then I guess people just watch it at home. They play it like when they have like 10 people over, when they kind of like, maybe it doesn't make sense to hire a DJ.
Yeah.
They just play those mixes.
And they just put it on. It's like a 20, 40 minute long kind of just
20, yeah, about 20 minutes. And I did the music videos. I edited myself. So like it actually has music videos attached to the songs. So that's probably why it did okay.
Do you advertise at all? Like to get people to hear your shit?
If you see my channel pre-release, like promos, just Facebook, Instagram, like it's all just boom, Khetchian, and honestly, like I want to thank everybody who shares my music, who likes and shares, because honestly, the shares are where
word of mouth and stuff.
It's just kind of where how things blow up. Like my last track, it got shared like 100 times on YouTube the first day.
Wow. Jesus.
But my first few tracks, they didn't get that response. But
because I'm just thinking, do you think you can be like the world's greatest DJ, right? Stay quiet, just keep releasing on YouTube without any promo, and people will hear it and you'll become huge?
Well, I mean, you gotta. If you look at my last, I released it's not an original, but I put out a remix that I didn't do promo for really, and it just hit like 65 or something thousand. Like, it's just it was just something that I put out just so because people, I guess, were waiting for material. And, the thing is, once you have like a core audience, like it just people like they wait for your stuff.
Yeah. It all depends on your fan base, and when you do provide something that's, I mean, that good, I think it'll do its job. I mean, that's where your fans come from. I mean, they're huge. That's what makes you is your fans.
I guess it was just a selfish question because I'm thinking about our YouTube. So I'm thinking like, sure, like you'll have some like our friends and stuff because our advertisement is posting on Facebook, Instagram, and stuff like that for people to watch. But I mean, besides those couple hundred people, right? I guess you're expecting the word of mouth to say, hey, you guys watch this, mate. This is a dope interview. Check this out, right? Dope podcast. But besides that, cold traffic, someone in Alabama, how am I going to get that person to watch me?
So you have to figure out what your audience is. Like, I'm not like making myself out to be anybody special, but for example, you have a podcast with me, you would expect that people who are interested in my music would want to listen, like might want to be interested in hearing it.
But see, I want our guests to be broad. Like I want a good ass DJ, but I also want someone that's championship ping pong player. You know what I mean? Because like they're both very interesting to me. You know, like, and I guess we just take them, and then whoever finds these people interesting, like whoever finds you interesting, your fan base, will check it out. So I guess that's how it'll grow.
Yeah, you target based on, so it doesn't even have to just be your fan base. It could be any just Armenian DJs, Armenian music listener that then will listen to this podcast and then be like, oh, let me go check out his stuff, and then they then become a fan of yours as well as ours. Yeah, so, I mean, I think it's complicated stuff, but I think
collabs are like the best, because if you just by bringing people that other people are interested in, that you're already providing some value, because like people get a look into how I guess how I did my thing, like my personal life, and you're the tennis player, you would expect that the people who follow that person would tune in there. And eventually, if you just provide a bunch of interesting content to people.
And that's why I asked you those questions, was being in your shoes and having that thought process, because I'm sure there's so many people that would potentially watch this podcast that are in the music industry or want to be in the music industry. Maybe they're young or they're already doing it, but they always come across that difficult kind of decision where they're the business aspect, the money wise, because everybody has bills. and that's
Absolutely.
why I thought that was something that we could add some value to the audience, which helps them. And I think with podcasts, with interviews, that's the whole point. So,
Yeah.
One thing before we wrap up, because I know we're how long?
like 35 minutes.
Okay. This is very interesting to me. So, do you make the song and then you sell it to the singer, or how does it work? Or do you pay him to be on your song?
See, this is a question of who is providing value to who, and every arrangement is different. I don't want to get into like any particular arrangement,
Right.
but every, for example, there are obviously some rules, like you can't ask for this much or this or that, but
Like a value, you can't ask for this much money.
like I mean, like just an example, like with late night talk shows, I've heard like people ask, oh, do the celebrities pay to be on the show, or do they pay the celebrities to come on? And if that was the case, if the case was like, oh, every case was different, then you would expect, okay, am I a celebrity bigger than the show? Then the show should be paying me, and vice
I
versa.
see.
But the thing is, in that particular example, I think it's like it's standard, like they're not allowed, or the arrangement is always, oh, they fly you out, they pay, and they pay for your expenses, and you come on the show.
Yeah.
Nobody pays anybody
Yeah.
outside that.
Yeah.
But with music, like, let's just say I want to make a track with Justin Bieber, who has like millions and millions of fans. I probably would have to, if he was even down to put his name on a track with me, I would probably have to dish out like at least $100,000 or $200,000.
Yeah. But I mean, don't you think that'd be worth it? Like, think about a song with Justin Bieber, it becomes a hit, like Despacito, and that's it, you're made.
Yeah,
It's a risk.
I think it's just so much deeper than that, because I have personal relationships with a lot of these singers, and nobody can just walk up to these guys and be like, yo, I want to do a song with you, like, let's do this track. Like, what's your number, Like, there's a lot of billionaires out there. Like, $200,000 is nothing. Why doesn't everyone have a track with Justin? Is like, at the end of the day, it's, there's like some transfer value, but you have to have a relationship.
Yeah, when you're making art, there has to be some connection, I feel like.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Before we end it, I actually have a couple questions. I don't know why, but this just was like, it's like random, just fun questions.
Yeah, man.
The first question was, you've performed at a lot of weddings, events and all that. I want to know what your favorite and most like memorable one was. Was it for, I don't know, Armenchik's family member's wedding or something like that, or like just, I don't know, someone that we might know of? I don't know.
I'm gonna be completely straightforward. I've done like so many that I have a lot that I guess if I think back, I remember them. I can't say a favorite.
What is the one that like right now you just thought of and you're like, oh, that was a fun one? None,
because I've done a lot at each banquet hall. So okay, if a banquet hall comes to mind, I can't even remember a particular event. So
Is your rate different every time, or you have a standard set rate?
Mine is always, it's always going up because demand's always going up. Like I get maybe 10 calls for certain Saturdays. Saturdays are most expensive. Like a Saturday in peak season, like December, you'd be surprised what some people pay me. For just even, they're just like, oh, we don't care, we want to have you. That's just my rate.
At that moment, the money's not a big deal for them. It's just to get
wedding. You got into a good industry, man. Weddings, people,
Armenian
especially
weddings.
Armenian weddings. At that point, there's
top pot's money.
You're just worrying about emotion. It's like if the bride wants it, I don't care how much it is, and they just want everyone to have a good time. And people are so like, not insecure about that, but they want everyone to have a good time, and they freak out if they don't. So they'll do whatever it takes to have that.
I wonder how much Armenchik is.
I think it's like 50,000, right? 30, 40, 50,000.
You
You can't get Armenchik?
No, he only does concerts.
Do you know him?
Well, when my dad, Armenchik, when he was just coming up, my dad was big. So they're good friends actually. kind of came up together. My dad, I remember my dad would tell me, Armen Chik Arama Satrian, he used to like book them for work. Like, he used to give them jobs.
Wow.
So you can get him at your wedding.
Armen Chik will definitely be invited to my wedding. I love all these guys. I don't see any competition with my fellow DJs or my artists. I want everybody to do well. You know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Have you ever gotten requests at like someone comes up to you like, hey, can you play this song? And,
and how annoying is that?
How annoying is it? And how many times have you said okay, but you ignore it?
It's at the end of the day, if I'm playing Armenian and someone recommends an Armenian song in the same rhythm, like boom, that's totally doable.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm playing Armenian or you know, like Latin or something, and someone's like, yo, can you play like some dirty like
rap,
twerk
like
music?
hip-hop?
And I'm just like, okay, yeah.
Somehow mix it.
You have to read the situation because sometimes they're drunk. You don't have time to explain it because you're in the mix.
Yeah.
You don't have time to explain it. They might not even understand if you explained it.
Yeah.
And they won't take no for an answer. Yeah. So you just go, yeah, I'll put it later. No problem.
Well,
you know?
I mean, have you gotten people like slip you like a 20 or 100 or something like that?
Bro, people tip me $100 all the time to play one song. And I'm not going to lie. A lot of times I turn it down because it's like, look, it's either this $100 or I ruin this.
Yeah,
this
your
party,
credibility
you know?
and
100%. Stay true to you.
Awesome, man. That's good answer.
I mean, me, bro. I don't let me get into it. Me, I am very, very professional. I'm like, I hear from a lot of people that I'm very good at what I do for a reason. Yeah, because I keep it professional. I know an event inside out. Like I basically, you know, they say the DJ is the life of the party.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, of course.
It's like such a small percentage of your costs, but it's like it makes or breaks everything.
Definitely.
But I myself pretty much run the whole party. Like I say, I get everyone together. I get the event started, the entrance, the videographer, everybody. I get those guys all together because there's some DJs who they'll just be like, okay, like we'll start. They didn't make sure everyone's ready, or they're doing the entrance, but the videographer hasn't been notified, and like they don't have that on video, you know. And why are they paying the guys $6,000 to record their wedding, you know, if they didn't get the entrance?
So do you when you go to like weddings and stuff to DJ, do you have anyone else with you?
Yeah,
as of late.
Sorry, that's what I was gonna ask too. Is that on top of that is I know how you were saying how your dad did this too, where he would book Armen Chikaram stuff. Do you have like a set singer or another DJ that you work with that you package deal in like a wedding kind of, where you say, okay, Suro, come and for an hour or 2 hours you'll sing, and then I'll DJ with you? And I mean, I don't know, how does that work?
I recommend these guys all the time. I look at the crowd. Again, like everything, I don't have a blind just like agenda. You know, I look at every crowd. I'm like, okay, this is a Hayastansi crowd. You know, Suro would be great. You know, Vartan Taymazian's a good friend of mine that I recommend. Aloyan. You know, I just look at the crowd and I say, you know, oh, you guys need this person. You guys need this person or this person. I recommend this person. And here are their approximate prices, and you make your decision based on your budget and who you want to get, you know, because these singers charge more than, for an hour to come, they charge more than DJ, understandably.
Have you ever just DJ'd just like without a singer at a wedding?
Have I ever? I do that all the time, bro.
I feel like that's
I have like 30 weddings next year that I'm DJing just by myself.
And you're literally, there's no one with you? There's no one with you?
I don't need anybody, bro. I could do the whole show, A to Z, man. Kidding me? I could show up and they'll give me I don't know anybody's name, and they'll just give me a list of names. I'll be like, boom, let's do this, baby.
And you mix on the spot?
Absolutely, bro. That's 1,000,000%. Because like, if I have a mix and people don't like one of the songs,
you're screwed.
Then like you lose the crowd, you know.
Oh man, yeah.
Wow. I you know, there are definitely mixes that like, oh, these songs are all hits, like everyone will dance, but it's just not the same. I definitely I'm not gonna talk down on anybody, but people who do that, like, it's like one sort of commitment.
It's not. It's not like I
spitting
feel
in
like it's
our
not
face,
real
you know?
DJing when you have a mix just going on. Like you're just standing there.
You just touch the knob a little bit.
You know, I'm not. I have them
Just
for
sort of
like
back up and
for
stuff.
like, you know, if I have a heart attack at 24,
And
you
you
know,
gotta
and I'm
walk
like,
away
oh,
or
I
like-
gotta go to the hospital
Press
real quick,
play.
just boom. You know?
Yeah.
No, I've never. You know, Sometimes I even forget that I have them because I never use them. Like, you can't even like put on a show if you're not into the music.
That's a true DJ, no?
Yeah.
The one that mixes on the spot.
Yeah, of course.
Bro, I mean, look, I don't know any DJs that don't mix on, like, I don't know DJs that just put on mixes. I mean, you know, it's again, it's like, it's complicated. Everybody has their reasons, but I don't know anybody who does that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said one thing that interests me was you said you have 30 weddings already lined up for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
How do you fit your schedule? I mean, I know how weddings are like always planned in years in advance, if not
Like
years,
2
6
years
months.
in advance.
How the hell who does your scheduling? Like, how do you figure that out? Like, how do you know that next year in May 17th, you're free or something?
Google Calendar.
Seriously, yeah, bro, Google
I
Calendar.
know, but I mean, the way
No,
that
I have contracts too, of course. I have a physical contract book, and I have my Google Calendar.
well, I mean, yeah, that's obvious, but I'm saying, like, I guess I'm
It's
comparing it
contracts,
to
bro.
to my lifestyle. Like, if someone says, "Hey, yo, what are you doing on the Saturday of
But you're not a DJ.
August
It's different.
2018.
It's not your
It's
livelihood,
this
bro.
is
so
this
it's
is a
different.
banquet hall. This is like
It's
professional
totally
shit as opposed to like telesquat,
Yeah,
coffee.
bro. See, a lot of people get mad, and like, this is one of my
Pet peeve.
Gorzi Darded. Like,
Yeah.
one of the sad things about my work is, like, I hit people up last minute, like, oh damn, my Fridays. I actually have a Friday, you know, like, for the first time in 2 months.
yeah?"
And I'll hit somebody up, and everybody's busy, or like, or just they're just offended that I hit them up like 2-3 days early.
You just
And they're like, oh yeah, no. I'm like, dude, what do you want? Like, that's my thing. Somebody could call me, you know,
Yeah.
and like, let's say I'm free next Saturday. Somebody
Yeah.
could call me and, you know, offer me $1,000 to come do their event. And it's like, do I hang out? Do I go to a bar, or do I make money to pay my bills? You know?
yeah.
Dude, so I'm assuming because your main days are like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you pretty much don't have a weekend life. Unless you count DJing as
I mean, you're going to a party.
Yeah,
I don't. I mean, I've missed so many of my friends' events and what, like, you know, and I have to make that tough decision of, this is my livelihood.
sacrifices. Yeah,
you know?
man.
I've had to do it for 9-10 years. Even at UCLA, it was the same.
Man,
just the
that's
partying and
that's
stuff.
tough.
Well,
But I mean, sacrifice. You gotta make.
I don't regret anything.
no,
Oh, yeah.
I think you'll pay it off for sure.
I mean, bro,
It is.
There's nights where I stay up until like 6 a.m. working, and my mom's just getting up to go to work, and I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, like, you just gotta make those sacrifices sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not gonna lie. Last thing is, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I don't have to be up at like 6 a.m. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that is one good thing. I do have a lot of, you know, on my plate, but I don't have to be up and do it at 6 a.m. You know?
Yeah, and like go to work or like that 9 to 5 kind of thing. You have your own schedule, which is just.
I guess life's purpose is to not hate Mondays. As
love
long as
it.
you can do that, man.
As
and
long as you
not
can
ju-
sleep
not just-
in on Monday.
Not just only look forward to the weekend,
Your
because
life
that's
is-
sad to just always say, okay, it's here, man. I just got rid of this week. Now let me enjoy this and then go through that hell again next week.
You Hakarag look forward to Monday.
Oh yeah, man. Got 4 or 5 days to. That's why I got into music. Is I was like, I have like all this energy and passion,
Yeah.
and I have like Monday to Thursday, you know, to do
Hell yeah.
Oh
something
yeah,
with it.
Hell yeah.
yeah, recover and then. All right. Well, I mean,
So you have
okay. I was just gonna go first.
you have just before we sign off, you have Thursday is when you're dropping that single with Suro,
Yes.
and that's gonna be on YouTube. I'm sure you're gonna put it on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Facebook.
What day is Thursday?
Thursday would be the 17th.
It's the 17th.
No, it's a 16th. Friday is 17th.
16th. Yeah. Thursday
November
at 10.
16th.
Thursday at 10 p.m. I'm
Why
gonna
10
have it up.
p.m.?
Oh,
Magician never reveals a secret.
I mean that's when places are awake.
10 p.m. Now I'm just analyzing. I'm like, ooh,
You
Armenia,
work with
Russia
China,
wakes
you-
up at around 10 p.m.
Yeah.
there you go.
So basically, and people here are awake too. So
Yeah.
10 p.m. on Thursday
perfect
the
time, huh?
16th. Yeah.
What time is that in Russia?
I have no idea, man.
But it's like in the morning.
I just know they wake up and they start listening to my music then.
That was
Oh, but that's awesome. Like you have your analytics down, perfect. So we'll have all your links on in the description. Look, it was a pleasure having you on, bro. Thank you for coming on, sharing your DJing knowledge. We hope you're very, very successful.
this will go up on Tuesday, so they have something to look forward to on Thursday. Then
Got it. You know, this whole podcast, I'm
It's been-
thinking like what I should say because I don't know if people
don't know when
it's
the timeline-
going up
Yeah.
when it's going up. I'm like, oh, it'll be up on my Instagram. I think, you know.
So basically, in 2 days they'll see it because it's technically Tuesday that we're releasing this.
Yeah,
so
that's
in
what I was
2
saying.
days,
So in 2
Thursday,
days.
they'll see.
Yeah.
We-
So
yeah.
base 2 days, baby.
hell yeah.
He's like, oh, it's only 2 days left.
We probably should have told you that from the beginning before we press record.
Surprise.
It's all right. It's
All
cool.
right, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, it was a
seeing you
pleasure.
guys.
Pleasure having you on, man.
With that said,
With that said,
from
yeah.
the Vibes guys and,
And
DJ Jilbér.
DJ Jilbér. Who recorded your intro, by the way? That's
Don't ask me that.
all right.
no.
man.
Hold up. I'll tell you guys. Okay, before we go, it's Wigman. Shout out
Wingman?
to shout out to Wigman.
Wigman.
Yeah, he'll record anything online.
That's dope.
Nice.
All
Shout
right,
out to
well,
man.
All right, Wigman.
Good vibes, baby.
very good vibe. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks, bro. Thanks.